possible informant.
So to the extent that information exists regarding an informant who is not going to be produced as a witness, including recordings or written statements of an informant, or that identify such an informant, such information is not subject to disclosure. And the state asserts informative privilege and prays for appropriate protective orders as necessary. An informant, I mean, should we assume there is one, or is this just in case there is one? Help me sort through the import of that.
Well, when I first read that, Ashley, I was very convinced that there is an informant or informant information that is going to come forward. If there weren't, they would have simply addressed that they don't have any such information, and it would have been in the negative. But because it's worded this way, I think that there is some informant information.
Well, there's talk of an informant, right? The possibility that that informant would be protected, that informant, from what I could understand, would not then have to testify. Now, where my mind goes when I hear that is back to this. Let me show you. If you don't know this story, it's a pretty crazy one. December 27th, I wrote in my on my community page, there was a very, very new what was it? Star magazine cover that had come out. We're talking, this is 3 days before the arrest happened. And I wrote Star magazine cover says killer found after 49 days. It's been 44 days and the release date is set to the future. It also says a killer didn't act. Oh, it also says the killer didn't act alone and was caught on surveillance. And then I put what? So if you take a close look, time when this cover came out, nobody believed that this case was anywhere close to being solved. At least I didn't really. I mean, I thought it was going to be still a little bit, but you know, I was kind of hearing rumblings that maybe something would happen, but overall, we had no clue that it would actually pan out. The date was set for January 2nd, 2023. Okay, so that's always kind of been on my mind is this cover talked about somebody, you know, possibly being an accomplice or possibly, well, it says here he didn't act alone. So did somebody know what was going on like before it happened or when it happened? And it was like maybe like an accomplice after the fact. Is there an informant? So I wanted to go over that real fast because that's a story that I don't know that everybody realizes. So it's kind of stuck with me. And I wanted people to know that side of it, that cover actually did come out before he was arrested. Now, the next thing I want to get to is some people who knew Bryan. Okay, these are people you might not have heard of. I want to read this to you. So it says, I went to high school with Bryan. Let me make sure you guys can see my screen. Okay, good. I went to school with Bryan Kohberger. Growing up, I always got a really weird feeling about him, like something was off. He was awkward and quiet, but had a bad temper. I didn't interact much with him in middle or high school, but we went to the same community college. Being a desperate 18-year-old who was out of weed, I hung out with him once because he said he knew someone who we could buy weed from. We went to the local mall. I gave him the money, and he went off to meet with the drug dealer. When he got back to my car, he said he'd been robbed and that he had to leave. He was acting erratic, and I doubted he was actually robbed. But I was also scared because, as I said before, I just got a very off feeling about him. I agreed to take him home, and the whole time he kept saying he was happy I was there with him and couldn't believe we were friends now. This was the first and last time we ever hung out, and probably the third time we ever talked our whole lives. I dropped him off in his parents' community where he was just recently arrested. He asked me to come hang out inside, but there was something in me telling me to get as far the F away from him as I could. At the time, I thought he was maybe on hard drugs or pills, but now I'm not sure what the erratic behavior was from. So nothing insidious happened, but I thought I'd share my experience because it was one of the only interactions in my life where I truly was in fear of another person. All right. Hey, Alma, good to see you. Oh, it's been a while. Oh, yeah, please, everybody, if you could hit the like button, that'd be awesome. So I found that a bit interesting. And the next one I'm going to read, I also found interesting. Of course, take it with a grain of salt. It is from Reddit, but it seemed pretty on point from what most other people have said. I suspect it's probably true that this person had an experience. I mean, it had a whole lot of traction when it came out. This thing on Reddit here, if you notice, it's like over 2,000 people liked it. There was over 358 comments. The comments that came from this Reddit post were like really supportive because she was a girl, like a young girl, like she was probably 18, around the same age as he was, I guess, and talking about the whole weed thing. Oops, sorry if you guys heard that. Oop. So being as young as they were, and of course you never think that somebody is going to be such an absolute, we'll say alleged maniac. And so she got a lot of support in the comments because she spoke about this experience with him. And I'm glad she listened to herself to never go and hang out with him again, because it could have saved her life. You never know when this all started. Okay, so the next one that interested me. So this was another Reddit, like a person's, it's actually a secondhand like experience. So in other words, this person knew somebody who worked with him, allegedly. I have to say allegedly because you just never know. Said Bryan Kohberger's high school job gives me the chills. I went to Pleasant Valley High School in the Poconos with Bryan Kohberger, where he worked nearby at a fish hatchery. His job, amongst other day-to-day activities, was to gut and fillet the fish. Well, when I heard that, so probably not a big deal, right? Gut and fillet fish. But when I heard that, it took me back to that dog, the Australian Shepherd, the mini Australian Shepherd, Buddy. Remember that whole story that Buddy on the 21st of October, he literally was found by his owner later on completely skinned, just down to, I think, his paws area, from what I remember. Absolutely disturbing. There's another connection, though, that I wonder could it matter? Maybe, maybe not. There's all this talk about Bryan being fired from his teaching job. And, gosh, I keep getting messages. Sorry, guys. There's this talk about him being fired from his teaching job. Well, I saw this screenshot from, it was a News Nation. Hopefully you guys can see this. Yeah. Okay, good. From a News Nation video. It was this one titled Idaho Killings, Bryan Kohberger's reported behavior at university towards women sparked interest or something like that. Okay. Notice the date here. So he was in talks, I guess, with his professors, people that he was kind of getting reprimanded for his behavior towards women, maybe fights, interpersonal like squabbles with teachers, that kind of thing. So I noticed the date here. On October 21st, Professor emailed Kohberger about the ways in which he had failed to meet expectations as a TA thus far in the semester. Could be nothing, okay? Could be nothing, but I noticed that date. October 21st happens to be the exact same date that Buddy ends up getting skinned and filleted, right? So naturally, when I saw that date, I'm going, oh, could that have been the motivating, or I don't know, could that have been what impulsed him to go drive in that area, find a dog? I'm just saying, allegedly, right? Could that have been what drove him to possibly, if he is the one who did it, to skin and fillet Buddy? He has a history of doing that with fish. I know fish is much different than a dog, but I started to wonder if maybe there is any at all, commonality there with those two possibilities. So this is from the time frame when he was posting on the forum, the health forum, and he was talking about, his kind of, his depression, his visual snow, stuff like that. Well, this is something that he wrote in that same time frame. I am 15 in 21 days, and I don't want to wish I'm dead because of this horrible thing. Something major is wrong with me. I'm just a blank soul. I used to be a spelling bee champion. Not sure how that ties in, but my doctor put me on every medication and it made me crazy. I always feel as if I am not there, completely depersonalized. Mentally, I feel like my life is a movie. I have delusions of grandeur, poor social skills, no emotion. I can say and do whatever I want with little remorse. Everyone hates me, pretty much. I'm an asshole. I broke my table for no reason. And it says, I find no joy in life. I simply don't want to live anymore. Oh, thank you so much, Aaron Hicks. So when I read that, it just made me feel like I know there's a lot of people doubting right now, doubting that he could be the guy. And you're allowed to doubt. I mean, you're allowed to have your own opinion. I'm not going to tell you which way to think. But it sounds to me like he was struggling so much with his demons, even at almost 15 years old. And a person battling himself the way it seems like he was, I could imagine he might have felt a lot of elation in carrying out something so sinister. Wow. All right, here we go. This might be big, guys. This might be really big. Can you guys see my screen okay? Yeah, hold the phone. Exactly. Hey, Summer. You guys know how on Reddit, on email, Bryan Kohberger went by BK5781. You know that, right? Well, I went ahead and I put this into YouTube. And what I came across was some very kind of interesting stuff. It is literally a person. I can't 100% say it's Bryan Kohberger, but I believe it could be. And he's literally stalking people's Instagram pages. I don't mean to laugh. It's very weird. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So this is from March 2020. March 23rd, 2021. And you literally just see him click on people's stuff. There's like 300 videos like this. Let me show you more. Let me show you the ones he does to the girls, okay? Whoever this is. So you'll see the person. Okay, so you see the person clicking on it, watching the video. You guys seeing this? It's a little bit odd, right? I can't confirm for sure that this is Bryan, but it's the exact same name he used on quite a few, forums or not forums. I'm sorry, on like Reddit for his email for the university. So it's like, I think it could be him. Not kidding. Let me show you. I'll show you one more and then we'll do the phones. Okay. It's just weird. This is weird. So he's got several videos like this, like probably, I feel like 300 from what I remember. There's got to be a lot of secrets. There's got to be a lot of secrets. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
I gave my dog something to keep him occupied.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like there's got to be a lot behind the scenes that happened in his, during his formative years or something, because he obviously has a lot in these writings from almost 15 years old. He's so confused. How are you that confused that young? I don't know. It just seems like there was really something off kilter.
But some kids know that young.
Could be.
Yeah. I've seen kids who very much, I deal with 10 and 11-year-olds every day, and there are some that know they need help. They need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
I've seen third graders that we needed to send to someone that needed to talk to somebody.
Wow.
I think our kids mature so soon.
They do.
So young. They're exposed to so much.
Especially
that,
now.
Yeah, they're having.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
I said, especially
Yes. now.
Especially now. You know,
Oh, yeah.
the kids are acting so much older, so much younger. You know what I'm saying? Like at 10 years old,
Yes.
they're doing things that I probably wasn't doing until I'm 14, 15, or knowing about because of the internet. Like the internet dominates everything now, and they learn way too much.
Everything.
Yeah. The stuff they see.
Well, 20 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I had parents that protested that I had a writing activity that mentioned a gun.
Oh,
That was 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
And now,
wow.
yes.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
You know,
mm-hmm.
That's how long I've been teaching, 23 years.
Wow.
So, yeah,
that's awesome.
I used to have parents that complained, you have a writing a thing that mentioned a gun. No, they didn't want that. And now that would just be, that's their normal everyday life, hearing about being, somebody in a gun.
Oh, every day.
So,
yeah, every day we hear about it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, yes. The knife thing, the filleting, we need to see if he really had that job.
Yeah, we do.
A filleting fish.
We do. We need to find that
because
out.
That is knife skills.
It is knife skills.
That is flat out knife skills.
Yes. When I was
that's why.
Yeah. Hey, when I was in chef school.
It was his weapon of choice.
I know. When I was in chef school.
That made my skin crawl.
Yeah. When I was in chef school, I had to learn how to fillet a fish. I had the hardest time with that. That was probably the one thing I can remember struggling with really bad. And so over time, you would get really good if you did this every day of your life. You would have precision in your cuts, which a person that could have done this to a dog would have to have, right? Not just any bozo could do that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but imagine how when he cut them, when he was cutting them up.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm sure he had skills with a knife, and I'm sure he studied.
Yeah.
Or he already had experience cutting up.
I think so, too.
I still say, do you think they're going to find more?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
You think?
I think so. Yeah. What do you think?
Well, I think they will. I think that I
think there's more.
I think when they look around, they'll it's either going to be dogs and animals or something, or they're going to find other victims that they had unexplained killings on.
Oh,
but
gosh.
Why did he go all the way across the country like that? I really do think I've read a lot of people who said, oh, no, I didn't mean to do that. Who said he went there on purpose just to do that.
Well, I want to tell you.
I think that.
Yeah, I want to tell you real quick. It was probably a couple weeks ago. It was really late at night, and it just occurred to me in my head. I'm like, I felt so strongly he had to have done this before. So I started looking up cases in the Poconos. Okay. There was a lady. What was her name? Dana Smithers. She went missing end of May of 2022. So what is that? 9 months ago? Is that 9 months ago? Oh gosh, my math. But anyway,
right before he would leave there.
Right before he left. It could have been perfect timing for him to get out of Dodge if he really could have done that. He literally lived 25 minutes away from her. 25 minutes. So missing woman, there's like no sign at all of her or what happened to her. Her keys, her purse, I believe they were just left behind. So could it have been him? I don't know.
I'm scanning the chat as we're talking, and Sherry says, he's been killing since he was 18, and then the next person says he went across country to go to Bundy School.
Oh.
Is that Bundy School?
Well, I know that Bundy did so much in Washington. I don't know if that was his actual college, though. Was it? It could have been. I'm not positive about that. I just know he did a lot of
Or did he kill
murders.
Someone from that school?
He could have.
Did he kill someone from that school?
He could have. I
need to go back and look.
I need to look too. It's very possible, though. Yeah. Wow. Crazy to think about. I'm going to
let someone else call.
Well, thank you so much for calling. It's great talking to you.
Well, nice to talk to you too. I'll
Okay.
get back to watching.
Okay, great. Talk to you
Okay,
later.
thank
Okay.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Wow. Why did my phone just do that? Oh, that was so weird. Okay. So interesting. What do you guys think? Do you think he could have done this before? If it's Bryan, which you know how I feel, you know, I think it was Bryan, but if it was Bryan, do you think he had struck before? Was he seasoned at this sort of thing? What are you guys' thoughts? By the way, if you want to call in, call in. Mods, if you want to throw the number out again, that'd be great. And it's 602-456-6695. I'll put it in the chat too, just in case. All right, reading your comments. Yeah, thank you, Alma. Awesome. No, I have doubts he was the only one, if indeed he truly did it. Yeah. Oh, let's see. He went to school at Puget Sound College. Okay. So that's in Bellingham area? Is that near Bellingham? Or no? That's what comes to mind anyway. Okay. Let's see. It was not. Hey, Mar. Good to see you. It was not Bryan alone with no help. Yeah. Such a mystery, isn't it? Hello, new here. Hey, Tracy. Welcome. Okay, phone. Hello, caller. Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Bubbly Waters.
Oh, Bubbly Waters. I'm so glad you called in. You're full of knowledge. How you doing?
Is it I can't hear me talking or anything like that. So am I off the
Yeah.
YouTube? It's not, I'm not.
You're clear.
Okay.
Yeah, you sound good to me.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good, right on.
Awesome.
So my gosh, there's just so much. I don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
Right?
I know. It's a trip. It really is a trip. Yeah. It's nuts.
So, I mean, the Enan thing, I truly now believe that he's got, either he's an informant.
Oh,
which
okay.
could be possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he skipped town real fast, right? Right after that happened, he was gone.
Mm-hmm. Now you're talking Enan Harsh, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Expound on that. Tell me a little bit more about what you've been finding out. I'm sure the audience is curious, and I'm not altogether knowledgeable on the newest stuff with Enan. So tell me what you know.
Well, I just went and looked up his YouTube and I followed him just so I could kind of keep an eye on him, right?
Okay, yeah.
Felt kind of weird following Enan, but anyway,
yeah.
But he stopped posting videos a while back. But the last one he posted was twirling sticks. Someone was recording him, and he was on a very colorful street in front of a very colorful building. So I looked it up, and anyway, he's in San Francisco, and that was off Height Street. Or Hoyt Street, is Haight, I believe.
Okay.
And in front of the tie-dye emporium shop.
Oh.
But that was the last thing he posted. But he's got there's a couple sketchy things up there, like the blue house and back I'm really leery about too, the one behind King Road.
Mm-hmm. I've wondered about that too. Yeah, the blue one. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? The thing is,
some of the videos. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, it's hard to define what it is about Enan. It's like, I don't know if he's just such, I don't want to say something disrespectful here to him, or towards him or about him, but it's really hard to figure Enan out. Like, I don't know if he's just some dumbass, excuse my French, just doing his thing as a chef's, what is he? He's like a sous chef or something. Or if he could have possible involvement with Bryan. And if so, how did they meet? I know he had ties to that part of Washington. Like, he worked in that area, didn't he?
Yeah, in fact, he is really close to my area, actually.
Ooh, okay.
He went to like Evergreen State College, talks about that, but he also lived, which is Olympia, which is literally a town for me.
Oh, interesting.
And I know lots of people that have gone to Evergreen, and I know lots of fire twirlers, but they're way better than Enan is.
Oh, I know that's his passion, isn't it? The whole fire twirling thing.
Oh gosh, yeah.
It's a wild.
Poor guy.
I know. It is.
You know what? Here's another thing about Enan that I saw the other day.
Okay.
And it's back from February 9th of 2018.
Okay.
Am I talking louder? Because I can't
No,
hear
you're
how
fine.
I sound like. So
you're
am I being
fine.
what?
I think
Okay,
you're
all right.
fine. Yeah.
So there was an article in the newspaper, and it said major drug bust on Pullman's College Hill nets 3 arrests, heroin, meth, and over $14K in cash. And so it reads, February 19th, 2018, 3 people have been arrested in a major drug bust on Pullman's College Hill. The Quad Cities Drug Task Force executed a drug raid at the residence of Terraview Drive Thursday night. The task force obtained a search warrant after reportedly receiving information that the occupants of the home had illegal narcotics. Authorities say they seized several ounces of packaged heroin, methamphetamine, and over $14,000 in cash. 22-year-old Brianna McCabe of Pullman was arrested for possession of heroin with intent to deliver and possession of methamphetamine. 43-year-old Jediah, or whatever, that Amish word for it.
Yeah.
Ford of Seattle was arrested for possession of heroin, while 25-year-old Jessica Wallace of Lewiston was arrested for possession of meth. What I find interesting is both girls, they're 2 girls, and one's 22 and one's 25, but then there's a 43-year-old guy, right?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of weird. So anyway, that was the end of the article. And the first one to reply was Enan Harsh.
Really?
And Enan writes,
yeah.
Yep, first one. He writes, small drug bust does nothing to stop heroin epidemic. Girl on first criminal charges as a heroin addict faces 12 years for first sentence, while people with over 4 burglaries breaking into your home to steal things still don't get any jail time and can live in special nonviolent spaces like college dorms. Dealers can't. Keep pretending like this is. He writes weird, so I'm trying to read this.
Yeah, he does. Right.
Please, yeah, I know. keep pretending that this is a bigger deal than the people breaking into your homes at night and stealing things. And then so the girl replies, "Awesome, take the drugs off the streets and away from our young people." And Enan says, "Another black sheep who will forever try to find someone to blame rather than work a solution. Same ignorant sheep as the brainwashed soldiers in Auschwitz working the ovens."
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And then there's one more comment on there. One more comment is from a guy named Phil Hong. And he says, Enan Harsh says the addict who blames others for their problems.
Says
that was in 2018. Right?
Yeah. Okay. Because I know he had spoken like on the Reddit thread thing that he had done 2-3 months ago. He was talking extensively about his history and stuff with drugs, with getting in trouble. So that it doesn't surprise me that he would comment and stuff on an article such as this. I just wonder. So if he met, okay, so let's just talk about this. If he met Bryan, how did he meet him? That's what I wonder. Could it have been a restaurant? Because he's not into like the vegan lifestyle, is he? He's dealing with chicken, raw chicken.
Both of them are vegan. Yep.
Oh,
vegan.
I didn't know Enan was a vegan.
Yeah.
Really? Okay, because I know I've seen that video, or it was like a picture, and he's cutting up raw chicken. And as we know, Bryan Kohberger would never do such a thing as that. He wouldn't even touch raw meat. Yeah. Allegedly.
Yeah, but when you're a prep chef or whatever, I don't think he's really a sous chef. I'm going to say more like a prep chef.
Okay.
A prep cook, not even a chef.
Yeah. True. You got to do what you got to do. So true. Wow. Well, I sure appreciate you sharing that. It's very interesting. I'm eager to know more. Yeah. Did you hear me?
I didn't hear the last part you said. What?
Oh, I said I was just going to say thank you for sharing that with me. I'm eager to know more. I definitely want to know more about Enan, because that picture that looks like him at the food truck, that's always been stuck in my head. Honestly, it looks just like it. But my husband, who's very, very detail oriented, he's like, no, Lauren, that's not him. Like, well, what do
there's two. You're talking about the one with the colorful cape kind of coat thing on. Is that the one?
Yep.
Okay, so I don't think there's another guy that comes right in before him that I think he's in black, darker clothes. And I think he looks more like Enan at that point. I mean, he's looking around really sus too. He's looking all over the place.
Okay.
And in fact, who Publicly Buzzed had it on last night on their live. In fact, I'm actually watching both you guys right now because they're on live with the Drunk Turkey Show right now.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Well,
so Publicly Buzzed and Drunk Turkey, and then you, of course, I'm doing this. So I'm like,
you're multitasking, girl.
But,
that's cool.
Well, I'll tell you, he brought up some really good Enan Harsh things too. But there's also this one chick. Now it's really kind of hard for me to listen to her. I like content, but she has it's Van Life Adventures, I think it's called.
Okay.
And she's got some really good info, some really interesting stuff that she talks about that I've never heard before.
Okay.
And she broke down that voice, the voice about that with Dylan's friend calling in and saying what the real story was. She breaks down Enan's voice from the interview with that one lady with the dark hair.
Yes. You're talking about Lauren from Hidden True Crime, right? Yes. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
She breaks down and puts those two together, Harsh's interview and that particular one. And oh my God, they sound so much alike.
Oh, very interesting.
It's crazy.
Okay. So I have to look more into this. Yeah, I need to look more into the Enan stuff. I kind of dropped him after Bryan Kohberger was found. I didn't think too much about him anymore. But from what you're telling me, I should probably take a second look just so I know what's up, Makes sense.
Yeah, and I also think that he knows. I mean, he knows so much more, whether he's an informer, he saw, or whatever.
Right.
If you go back and listen to his interview and you dissect it, in fact, I think Van Life is the one that dissected that interview, and you will hear things you've never heard before. Another thing too is I think that house was wired with live streaming. I think it was live cam streaming.
I think so too. I agree with you on that big time.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
for
sure.
I mean, because I think it was all live. That's why there were so many people out there. That's why it's so quiet that night. That's why there was people walking in the shadows. It wasn't just the 4 people running by, 2 prior to that. And then, the other 3 that the cops had, and the other guy that, the 21-year-old. Yeah. And there's a video out there that shows the 21-year-old, when he was looking to get his ID, trying to get his ID for the cop because it was on his phone. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Vaguely, yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know if it's a real video or not, because I don't know who the heck would be videotaping this guy watching to get his ID off his phone. I don't know who would be videotaping that part.
Yeah.
But it shows him looking at his phone, and it shows these weird pictures on it. And that's when that scream, we heard the scream thing in the cop video, the cop cam.
Yep.
And the cops didn't make they didn't even look to see, they didn't even acknowledge it. Well, these people think that it was coming from this guy's live stream on his phone, like it was a live stream, like basically a snuff film.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
And that's so creepy. Oh my God,
wild.
This is so creepy.
Wow. What a trip.
It's hard to think. It's hard to even think. I know. This thing's got so many avenues to it. Anybody could be guilty, really, seriously.
I know. So true. And Enan claims to have heard a scream at 4 a.m. Just in case my audience doesn't know that about Enan. He's the one originally, a month into this, he came out and said, I heard a scream as he was trying to go to bed, right? As he's trying to wind down for sleep. He hears a scream around 4 a.m. So we didn't put him there. He put himself in that situation, right? For even bringing it up.
Yep. He also brought back up the white Elantra in the upper parking lot. He brought back the black truck, the different black truck that was there.
True.
There's a lot. Here's another thing that just came up. There is it's on a TikTok video I just saw.
Okay.
In fact, I'm going to send you some TikToks about the blue house in the back. You've got to see the person up there. Oh my! Did I send them to you already?
Well, I haven't really checked my email lately. I'm sorry. I've gotten behind on it.
Okay. No,
if
it's
you
okay.
did, I'll get
I might have sent them to somebody else.
Okay. Okay.
But crap, what was I saying about? I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Something about TikToks. So that interrupted you.
Oh.
So you were thinking, yeah.
No, that's right. Okay, so there was a video that came up, and it was this, and I haven't had a chance to look it up because I had to go out and do something, and I popped down and you were on. So
okay.
It is about this girl talking on this video about Enan in not happy, like in a verbal confrontation or fight or whatever, with Ethan, with Ethan and Xana and somebody else that night, Bethany, or I can't remember who the other one was, but it's it's in her comments. So I will send you that little tidbit of information. I just saw it like maybe a half hour ago. So
okay.
And I saved it. I've been downloading those videos now because the one in the back, when the blue house, hers are gone off the internet, but I actually downloaded them, so I have them in my album on my phone.
Awesome. Well, yeah, share them with me.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear them or see them, I guess.
All right, cool. People probably think this is crazy. Probably don't even know half of what I'm talking about because I don't even know half of what I'm talking about.
Oh, hey, I'll get comments later. Oh, you're crazy. Your guests are crazy. I get that almost every time. So it is what it is.
Do you? Awesome.
Yeah, I get it.
You are crazy. I love it. We're both crazy.
I don't thought police you guys though. So, a lot of people tend to try to keep a very tight lid on what their chats are about. Let's just talk, right? Everybody's allowed to have an opinion is how I feel.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, I mean, granted, there are some things out there that I definitely would be like, oh, okay,
right, like that's crazy.
Really not on the level of what we're talking about here.
Right.
But what is the level? I mean, look how crazy it is already.
Oh, it's nuts. This whole case is crazy. So you can only go more crazy from here, in my opinion. Nothing sane about it.
Yep. Nope. It's only going to get worse too. I mean, just right along with. I mean, let's go back to the chief bringing up a U-Haul and hauling out 12 separate trips of stuff out of that house. And the other cops putting stuff in the back into their car to move them. Mm-hmm. TVs and boxes and stuff. I mean, come on. Who does that?
I know. It just makes no sense. And I just hope that doesn't lead to problems in the trial, right? Later on, like, contamination or whatever they could say, right? Just who knows?
Yeah, but also at this point, okay, so I mean, just on the different side of it, which I'm pretty sure that Bryan had something to do with this. But did he have is this bigger than him? Was he I mean, there's so many things like with the evidence that popped up right off the get-go. How do they have all that stuff? What about the shoe print? I mean, we've not heard anything about that.
I know.
One shoe print, right? Mm-hmm. How did they find it? How all this? Right. The sheath. That sheath was planted, whether it be from him or somebody else. That was planted.
Interesting.
And I'm sure that it was meant to point towards Brent Kopaka, which is why Brent is no longer on this planet.
So
in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a lot we could talk about if I wasn't live right now.
I know. I'll let somebody else get on there. I know. I could talk all night to you anyway. So.
I know. Well, thank you so much for calling. It's always nice to hear from you, whether it's email or whatever. But anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Take care. I
will. I'll be checking in on you. All right. Okay. You guys take care. Bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye. Bye. Let me get real quick to these super stickers. Thank you so much, Donald Kane. Is that how it? Kane? So much. Hello, caller. This is Lauren. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Lauren.
Hey.
This is Celeste. How are you?
Oh, I'm good.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Awesome.
I told them I would call in. So about Iman, I don't think that he's got anything to do with this. I think he was excited because something happened in his area and he wanted to be on television. I think maybe drugs kind of fried his brain a little bit.
You're talking about
I think
Enan.
he's really horrible.
Are you talking about Enan?
Yeah,
okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm from the South. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Okay. I wasn't sure. I just wanted to clarify. Okay. So you feel he just wanted to kind of put himself into the mix to get attention, perhaps.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Okay.
I mean, it was national news. Actually, I think it was kind of worldwide news.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that I was obsessively watching it, so it was kind of exciting to be right there in the mix of it. And I don't think that he realized he was putting himself in harm's way by
going on television, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know what I've always wondered, Celeste, is why is there no photography, no pictures of, like, once the emergency services get there, or how about better yet, once the coroner goes in to take the bodies, why is there no footage of any of these, vehicles or anything in front of the house or any tarp around anything? Do you know what I mean? There's no photographs.
I do.
How is
Yeah,
that never
This is
captured?
a very odd case.
It's very odd.
This is super, super odd to me. There's a lot of things that don't really sit right with me regarding this.
I know.
Especially, the reason I called in was actually about Bryan Kohberger. So
Okay.
I'm not convinced he's the killer. I'm a little paranoid, so
Yeah.
forgive me. But have you ever seen the movie The Life of David Gale?
No,
You know what I'm talking about?
I've heard of it. I've never seen it though.
Okay. Watch that movie, and it's basically about these people who are death row. They're against death penalty.
Okay.
And so they construct this crime to get him convicted, to prove that people can be convicted wrongly. So if he's like this mastermind getting his doctorate in criminal psychology, who's to say that he didn't like have this thing planned out and like maybe just planted enough evidence to where he would be pinpointed, but like have an actual alibi or have some kind of mounting evidence that would keep him from getting charged, just to kind of see if he's smart enough. Like, especially since he did that poll, that's really the kind of thing that sealed the deal on it for me, was this poll that he put out. Like, he was trying to find somebody to actually execute the plan for him,
So true.
but to make himself be you know what I'm saying? I know it sounds crazy, but
I understand what you're
to
saying.
make himself be the primary target and the primary suspect, that he didn't actually do it, to see if he could be convicted, not being the person that executed it. Does that make?
Yeah, no, it does. It does. It does make sense.
Okay.
See, what I think, I'll tell you what I think real quick. I think he went through his life completely unnoticed by people. He was sick of being invisible, sick of women not paying him paying him the time of day, any attention whatsoever. And I think he potentially, if he is the killer, right, that could have taken root so much in his core. He was so depressed. He had the depersonalization issue as well. And I think that he decided he would take this rage out on these people. Let's say he had an obsession, right? We assume he had an obsession with somebody in the house, probably Maddie or Kaylee. And he just didn't give a rip anymore. And he wanted to potentially go down. I don't know.
Did you see where he had been sending Instagram messages to Maddie, and they were going like kind of her message request folder, so she wasn't actually seeing them?
Right.
Like, I get creepy messages from guys all the time.
Yes.
And I just like either ignore them or I don't open them because I don't want them to see that I've opened them.
For sure.
And he was basically in her inbox talking to himself, right?
Yes.
So let's say that he's mad at these girls and that's why they're the target. There's also been reports of like numerology kind of being behind it because of like the number of the house, and like there's all kind of speculation out there. I'm sure you know that.
Oh, for sure. No, I agree. I agree about that. It's pretty odd.
So so they made them like he let's say that he picked the people, because they were stepping up D words to him or whatever, or they were super hot and he couldn't have them. So the incel part of him, kind of got angry about it. But like I still am not convinced he actually did it.
Okay.
I'm not, especially because of. I don't know. If he's that smart, why would he set himself up to get caught in this manner? It's almost like he wants to be put in the light, but
that's what I think.
Yeah, only to be robbed of it later, though. Like there's going to be some kind of weird revelation down the road that like completely exonerates him. You know what I mean? Like,
interesting.
Is that going to be interesting? I mean, I know it's like a white dove, and that's fine. I'm used to it.
No, hey, they'll say it later anyway. Don't worry. I'm on your team.
Okay, cool. Well, I want to document it here that I was right, okay?
Yes. We'll remember you for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's all I care about.
I know. Yeah, see, I tend to think that maybe he did want to get caught. Maybe he wanted to be a BTK or whatever. Like, is that possible? He wanted to be a serial killer. He wanted to be regarded in that way. He wanted to be famous. Maybe Bryan wanted to be famous. That's what I think. I don't know. I could be way off.
Yeah, maybe. And
Yeah.
are we going to talk about the DM thing tonight or no?
Go
Or is that
ahead.
off topic?
Yeah, be my guest. Have at it.
So the fact that there's been so many discrepancies, like I know I've been following this since the very beginning, like
Yes.
since it happened. Like from the beginning of them talking about her being on the first floor and that's why she survived it. And then they were saying she was too drunk or too messed up to see anything, and she actually went in her room and locked the door. And that a lot of what was put in the affidavit was actually not true. Like a lot of the have you heard about that? About the police kind of taking artistic liberty with the writing of the affidavit?
I have heard about it. Yeah, I've heard about it. So kind of
kids that were there.
Yeah.
Kids that were there got a first-hand account of it before the police wrote the affidavit, before that was released, and it didn't match up with what she said. She said she didn't really see anything, that she had heard it and locked herself in the room. And they needed to be able to have somebody to pin this on. So they kind of came up with the whole bushy eyebrow thing and all this stuff.
And embellished
it,
right? And embellished it quite a bit. It said she was in a frozen shock phase.
Her ass, though.
Right.
Yep, they were on her ass because she was aware of it. She did call the friends before she called the police. So she did look very, very suspicious. And I'm not entirely sure that there's not a reason for that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to speculate as to what that is, but there's something off with her being part of the situation. I don't know what it is. Well, there's definitely something there. And I'm not victim shaming because she's not really a victim, especially if she, you know, I don't know.
I hear you. What do you make of the fact that on that second floor, from what I understand, the only bathroom that was on that second floor was Xana's bathroom? She had to have seen Xana if she went to the bathroom. And if she had been drinking, perhaps she obviously had to go to the bathroom, would be my guess.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And I don't know, Ethan was out in the middle of the hallway, though, right?
Yeah, like right in the doorway, I believe. Yeah.
She would have seen him.
She had to have seen him.
This is some suspicious mess. Not only that, okay, so there was a Drunk Turkey episode that I watched recently where they were talking about, there was a lady that called in and said that the house was going to be a drug house, blah, blah, blah. But she had a theory that the phone was taken down, you know, like the phone pinged further south than what it should have been. It wouldn't have gone back to Pullman. It would have gone like down south of
like Genesis or something, or
Moscow. Yeah, like it went from Moscow, then down south, and then it went back up to Pullman. Like she had gotten lost, and that's the reason she turned her phone on.
Okay.
Like maybe she was supposed to be making this is all pure speculation, obviously.
Yeah.
But it was like that she maybe so that he would have time to clean up and do whatever. Because that was another thing, like how would he have had time to not be completely bloody from head to toe? Like there had to be more than a 10-minute or 15-minute time span. You know, it's just a lot of it's not adding up.
Oh,
so let's say that to cover for him and to make the phone ping, she takes his phone in his car and goes down and does her thing. And then that's the reason he comes back at 9 a.m. is because he has to actually get in the car and go to Pullman. Have you heard any of this? Like, I'm not making this shit up.
No,
like,
you're not making it up. No, I know what you're talking
I'm just repeating what other people have said.
Yeah. It's so hard to know what's the truth now. I feel like there's so much swirling. And of course the media just kind of adds to that baloney. Not that this is baloney, but I mean just the swirling rumor aspect. So it's so hard to know what's what anymore. You know what I mean?
It is. I really am excited about seeing them way more than I should be. Like, I'm truly invested in this, so I'm excited to see what happens in court. I'm going to be watching every minute of it.
Oh, me too. Me too. Absolutely. Hey, Celeste, real quick, you gave me a super sticker, didn't you? That was so sweet. Thank you. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Oh, you're so sweet. I appreciate it.
It was so awesome chatting with you, man. I watch you all the freaking time. So I'm fangirling over here.
Thank you. Well, I love talking to you, and have a great rest of your night.
You too, sweetheart. I hope you do too. Have a good one.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Truth and transparency. Hello, doll. Hope you're doing good. Yes, Alma, she is awesome. Thanks for being here. We've had some good calls. I'm going to take one more phone call. And then I have to go. I got to catch a flight here in a couple hours. Okay. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, how are you?
fine. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. Hopefully everybody else can. It seems they can. So yeah, what's
Good.
going
I'm
on?
going to mute my computer.
Okay, great.
I was just wondering if you could explain how I can support you. I'm new to this.
Yeah.
And I hear sticker and super chat and I don't understand. How do I make a donation?
Well, that is awfully sweet. So there's thank you. First of all, so there's options like underneath each video, there's an option called super thanks. So when the person is watching like a replay of this, it's a heart-shaped button. It says super thanks. You can press on that and then you can do like little donations that way. And then in the chat, there should be like it's a dollar symbol to the right side of where you would place your comment. That's how people super chat, just so you know. But that's it. That's very sweet though. Thank you. You absolutely don't have to do that, but I appreciate it.
No, thank you. That explains it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Is there anything you wanted to say about this case?
No, I'm still figuring it out, but I find that you and Reverend Donna really resonate with me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I really support, I've always supported what she does, and she's always been really right on the button, as far as accuracy and stuff goes. So thank you. Sweet comment.
Well, thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Take care. Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, guys, I have to get off. I'm sorry. Let me put my do not disturb. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Hopefully that worked. Anyway, I want to thank you so much for being here tonight. I know it was kind of a shorter live, but it was nice to spend it with you guys. Please don't forget to hit the like button if you can. And if you didn't like it, press the dislike. Either way, it's fine. Thank you, Truth and Transparency. This is for a shot of Fireball on the plane. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'll tape it. Thank you so much. And everybody take care. Have a great rest of your night and a good weekend ahead.